Hello everybody and welcome back to Club Preview here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, where we'll be discussing a wee bit more news that's come out since we were last with you on Tuesday for Club Deck Corner, and then we'll also round up with the preview of the opening game of the SPFL Premiership against Livingston at Almondvale tomorrow at 12 o'clock. So not quite a full house this evening, as one of us had a slight car trouble about 20 minutes ago, but I'm pleased to welcome along first off Ryan Haymarch. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm good, Scotia. How are you? I've obviously been a lot better than Ali is at the moment. Apparently some in some motorway somewhere trying to flag down the AA car trouble. I do sympathise with him if he's in the motorway car trouble, because that'll cost him a bit. But yeah, hopefully he's safe. And I'm sure he's watching just now at the side of the motorway. I'm sure he's watching. I'll watch for those comments coming in.
I don't know. Ali's one of these people that if he's not on it, then he's got no interest in it. So I doubt he'll be paying any attention to this tonight. We might see him pop up in the comments. We would never know. Anyway, we've also got the main man himself, Scott Carney. How's things with you, Scott?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Same for me, a bit of a manic Friday for me, but Ali likes to get his commitment in that he can take his stuff to Aberdeen with him. Well, I've had a mental day, mate, and I'm still sitting here doing a podcast. So I can say that stuff because you're right, Ali is not going to watch this. Ali's not on it, so Ali won't watch it. It's as simple as that. But no, football is so nearly back, man. It's just around the corner. It's been I suppose I should have expected a day like today, just being kind of manic because, of course, the football's back tomorrow. So, in a way, it distracted me, I suppose, from tomorrow. But now, yeah, we've started. We're live now, and I'm absolutely buzzing for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's you got that feeling now that everything, the presser was out today, so you're right back in the swing of things and how it used to be. It's amazing how quickly it all comes back. Come back to you, but before we get on to like the Livingston game and stuff, there was a few bits and pieces that came out by Rangers throughout the week, and one of those was, I think it was just before we started recording Club Deck Corner on Tuesday evening, that there was a statement put out on the Rangers website about the fan engagement, and it's something that we've spoken about often enough over the course of these pods that we do. So Rangers put out a statement kind of outlining that they've got a fan engagement process that's getting put in place for this season, to sort of strengthen the engagement between Greg Marshall, the SLO, and the rest of the fans. There'll be continuous events held throughout the season in different locations around the UK, they did say, and also at Ibrox. And there's a list on the website. There's a wee list that supporters can go and click on that and then go and see if you want to go and attend one of the events. There'll also be a supporter survey that will get issued to, I would imagine, every season ticket holder and My Jers member, that you're urged to go and complete that. And then there's also a wee drop-in session next Wednesday between 11 and 4 p.m. at Copeland House, if anyone wants to go there and drop into that. But I mean, Carney, I'll come to you first. We've spoken about fan engagement, things like that, and sort of issues that we've got. I mean, I'm going to be really honest. My gripes on match day and things like that are very, very small. And to be honest, if I'm honest about it, then my gripes could probably be averted if I didn't stay in the pub for one more pint before going along to the game, things like that. Because one of the things, we didn't really touch on it after the post-match against Spurs, but myself, you and your dad and a couple of your dad's pals got the bus along Paisley Road West, walked along up to Edmonston Drive, and the queue going back to the club deck from Copeland, was going miles back, almost back onto up the top of Edmonston Drive. But we quickly walked along to the other end, up to the Broomlin end, no queue, no bother at all, and up we got slightly later. But what are your thoughts on all this fan engagement, and how will you approach it?
It's about time, I think. I think there's a number of things that a number of fans are particularly upset about. I would go along with what you were saying, the fact that there is a lot of the stuff that's probably not Rangers' fault in the nicest possible way. There's probably a lot of things that I think could be better about the Ibrox experience, but that's parking, that's transport, that's things getting to the stadium and from the stadium. It isn't good enough. It never has been. And it's certainly not getting any better, obviously, with these strikes that are coming up and things like that with the underground, but that's not really Rangers' fault. The thing that the gripes that I've got are probably going to get addressed, but the club probably already know about them at the same time. Like, everybody's biggest peeve is the ticketing website that Rangers have. It is shockingly bad. I generally think you could get a free hosting site that would do it better than what they currently use. That's got to be a big thing that they need to address. There is other parts there's things in the stadium that I think could improve as well. I think the toilets are in a badly needing updated. They really are. I think some of the stands have been. They've kind of redone them in terms of painting them and fixing wee problems to make them look, give them a fresher look. There is still parts in the club deck, mate, that are shockingly bad. Like, you can see how bad they are, and a bit of paint over the top of it's probably not going to fit. And shockingly bad's are probably a wee bit harsh, but it kind of just takes the glint off it a wee bit, and it's just a wee bit need of correcting, just a wee bit of refurbishment of it. But I mean, I get it. I do. I just hope the club are going to decide to act on the things that are obviously going to get brought up, because there is going to be things that get brought up that the club really do need to address. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's long overdue by the club. But will I get involved? Again, the ticketing thing, I might send an email about that because the website's a shambles. But apart from that, everything else I don't really see has been Rangers' fault.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ali's not on today, but one of the kind of things that we always speak about is, while I don't know when they actually scrapped it, but there used to be kind of two separate queues for the club deck. There was one that was for season ticket holders, and you could jump in there and go in, but that was before they kind of rolled out the whole card, used that scanner thing throughout every turnstile. So it's a bit different now, but it always tends to happen at the club deck because you get seat movers in certain games. Because you, for instance, that friendly game up in the club decks where you're going to get the most kind of on general sale tickets. So you will always get people coming in, experience that a wee bit differently. So having a few more folk round about those turnstiles going like, you know what, if you just take a 2-minute walk up to the Broomlin end, you'll get in half the time. That'd be ideal. But Ryan, I know you'll probably have quite a bit to say about this. So do you want to take it away and put your complaints forward and we'll get them to the SLO and things like that?
Just strap in. If you're looking for optimism, then you want to tune out for the next minute or two. I've seen it all before, Scotia. I've seen it all before with Rangers and this fan engagement. I've seen, I don't know how many campaigns they've had. First thing I want to say is this board have done so much in terms of the maintenance round about the stadium, where Murray's regime let the stadium rot. I wasn't in the stadium for years, like in the actual main doors. But I know that a lot of people were saying how grubby it looked round about the carpets, stuff like that. And even just like the steel, the brickwork, so much was just a mess round about Ibrox, and Murray just let it go. He really did, and he could have stepped in, he could have done things, but he didn't. And this board have spent, I don't know how much money, but they have spent hundreds of thousands, I would imagine, on the maintenance of this stadium, and for that I totally take my hat off to them and thank them as well, because we've got, if not the greatest, one of the greatest stadiums in the world. However, this fan engagement thing, I have heard so many times from Rangers, so many times they want to put the fans at the heart of the club. However, we still have this ticket office, this customer service that is, it's not even from the dark ages. I'm coming up 30 years. My mum used to sit on her phone to get Champions League tickets for me and my dad, like, I don't know, 20 odd years ago, and the customer service was appalling then, and it's 2022 now, and their customer service is still shocking. Disabled section, that comes up, I think, every AGM. The disabled section for disabled fans is so poor for a club our size, and yeah, they would have to think about moving fans or something, but do you know what? We should have a far better disabled section than we do. The food is a joke, and it looks as if it's got worse. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen the menu twice now this season, and it looks worse. The food.
I've still not bought in or tried in yet. No.
Yep, and it's things like that. And Castor, right? I'm going to go into them as well now. Castor, okay, we've got them. We have a deal. We've made money. We've got a deal with them. That's fine. But it's the service. It's the availability of shirts that is so poor for Rangers fans. They know the demand. Rangers know the demand of the shirts. Castor know the demand of the shirts. So supply and demand is a contract, and they can't meet it. And it's just, good luck to anyone who wants to go to that fan engagement, and I really hope things take a turn this time. But I exhausted myself years ago with these fan engagements, and they are not for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll have
rant
to wait
over.
and see.
Rant over.
No, it's fine. No, it's good to get it off your chest. I see Curry Muncher in the comments there moaning that we're not getting on to happier stuff.
He always
Curry,
moans, mate. He's always moaning.
It's better to get this stuff out the way at the very start so that we can move on to happier things as we go along. But no, Ryan, like you say, it is probably, wait and see what happens. Hopefully it does improve. I know I'd seen that they're bringing in like a match day team to liaise with supporters, and I can't remember who it was on Twitter, but I did see someone comment on Twitter that used to be something that got done previously, but obviously it got done away with during the banter years and things like that. So I can see that, we've got that in the background, that we've had the banter years, that there's an awful lot of stuff that slipped by the wayside. So we're trying to catch up now. So hopefully it can go forward. I'm optimistic that it will go forward, Ryan, but I can see where you're coming in with your pessimism, as it's been said and not done before as it was.
Scotia, sorry mate, I hate interrupting you, but I can get where Ryan's coming from, because it does seem a wee bit box ticking exercise. Like we have seen this before and nothing has really changed. So I can see both sides of the argument. I really can. To move on to happier things, and I'm sorry I didn't do this at the start, it's because I'm not hosting and I don't know what I'm doing when I'm not hosting. Lorraine Somerville became a Coffee Buying Legend member, which is superb. Thank you so much for signing up and doing that for us. Obviously, Martin, the guys you'll know as Marth Vader, he also bought us 4 coffees as well, just before we came on air there. So thank you very much to them. Very much appreciated. If you want to do the same, links in the bio. Right, Scotia, sorry I had to get out of the way, mate. I'd have forgot if I didn't do it there.
No, that's great. Yeah, thanks, Lorraine and Martin, for that. So on to slightly happier things in the world of Rangers. The Rangers news on Wednesday evening. Rangers were invited along to the Glasgow City Chambers by the Lord Provost of Glasgow to have a wee reception to celebrate 150 years of Rangers Football Club, and there was guests from Rangers history, past and present, as well as politicians and figures of public life. I did see a wee photo of Grado and Stephen Purden along, so I'm assuming those were the guys from the public life, and love those guys. These are always enjoyable to listen to, those two. But it looked like a really good evening, quite a few people there. And Ryan, I want to come to you for this one, because it's, given our age, this person isn't a guy that we speak about very often, but we probably should. And it was really good to see David Holmes along there in the crowd. As I say, because we were all probably toddlers, maybe not even born in your case, Carney, when David Holmes was at the helm, that we probably don't give him the due that he's deserved. But what did you make of the whole reception?
It looked a great evening, first and foremost, and well done Glasgow City Council for acknowledging our 150 years, because as soon as I read that, I thought Q meltdown. Yes, there was lots of top figures there, and Greg, I seen Greg there as well. Did you say at the beginning there, Grado and Shelsett Bob were there?
Yeah.
Aye. Seen a photo in them on Twitter. One of them put it up on Twitter.
Okay, right. Obviously they've sneaked in the fire exit or something like that. Fair play to the boys. It looked a great evening and classy from Glasgow City Council, because Rangers are a club of the community. 150 years, the first, not just the first Scottish club, the first major European club to reach that. And it's not just Rangers as a club. It's obviously, we always say this, they're an institution who not delivered just success and trophies over the years. It's the community work they've done. It's the charity work they've done over the years. It's the financial revenue for years that they bring in to this country. And it's been acknowledged, and so it should be, because Glasgow are clearly proud of us, Glasgow Rangers being a part of them, but Glasgow's ours as well. So that's clear to everyone. And despite what anyone may say, but I was very impressed. I didn't actually get to see many videos of it, but I just seen the kind of lineup of people who were there. And John Gregg, and you said David Holmes as well. We don't speak about David Holmes a lot, and he was a lot to do with taking Rangers into that kind of next generation. Just before Murray, wasn't it? That's when Murray took it off of David Holmes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, great to see people like that and true Rangers men at the helm. So yeah, it looked a great evening, and I'm so glad that Glasgow City Council acknowledged that and got Rangers to come in and represent it.
Yeah, no, it looked a fantastic evening, Carney, and a couple of people that I noticed that were on it, and I'd like to give them a shout out as well as Ian and Gordon from the Founders Trail. Now, we went on the Founders Trail. Was it for your birthday? We went along and done that.
My 30th, I think, mate.
Was it your 30th? Aye, we went along and done that. A big group of us, and it was an absolutely incredible day. So it was good to see them getting recognised because they've done an awful lot for the Rangers support in terms of letting us, sort of educating us on in Rangers history. But what did you make of the whole occasion?
Yeah, a wee bit shocked, to be honest, that the Glasgow City Council wanted to do something like that for Rangers. It was really good to see, and and quite rightly so. I mean, I would be kind of painting the wall again of what Ryan said. We deserve that, of course, we deserve that, and. Yeah, it was good for them to acknowledge us. It was good to see so many Rangers kind of legends turning out to Holmes as one that we probably don't talk about enough. He was responsible for bringing Souness to the club, I think. I think it was him that was in charge when Souness arrived. So, no, really good to see. I mean, if Chelsea, Bob and Grado are getting invitations, lads, I mean, surely we should be on that list. I mean, come on. Well, what's going on here? What's going on? I'm going to need to try and speak to somebody.
I was half expecting a wee WhatsApp message from you at some point on Wednesday saying, "Hey guys, guess what I am?"
I must suited and booted, done there with a beer in my hand. Yeah, no, definitely. But no, it's a fantastic occasion. It was nice of Glasgow City Council to do so, but it's thoroughly deserved. We are a massive part of this city, and yes, Glasgow is ours. Again, just repeating what Ryan says, this is our city. It's more than a football club. It always has been, and always will be. We live and breathe Rangers. I don't know many Rangers fans that don't. We kind of live our life around this magnificent football team, magnificent club, and we're all part of something pretty special. I don't think there's a team in the world like Glasgow Rangers. Obviously, I'm biased, but I would argue that to my death. So yeah, I mean, a brilliant occasion for Rangers and for the Glasgow City Council to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like an absolutely cracking night, and you know what? Thoroughly deserved by Rangers, like you both say there. I am, however, a wee bit disappointed that Pearson isn't on the pod tonight because his second favourite subject behind talking about Rangers is getting dug into Celtic fans, and some of the meltdown from them on Twitter, from the tweets that went out both from Glasgow City Council and Rangers, was hilarious. With them just, you know what? Like I've got Celtic supporting mates, work colleagues, etc., things like that they'll wind you up about things. Oh, you're a new club, but you know they're only winding you up. It surprises me how many of them seem to actually vehemently believe that, oh no, we're a new club and things like this. It's quite ridiculous. You know, just can't get the amount of things that you see talking about, like Celtic blogs talking about Rangers. It's ridiculous. So I was hoping that Ali would have been on the night so that he could have had a wee dig at that. But unfortunately,
my motto. Sorry, Scotia. My motto for Celtic fans, genuinely, not all of them, but there is a vast majority of them, they hate us more than they love their own football club. And to me, that is no way to support a football club. I love Rangers more than pretty much anything else in this world, and I don't generally pay attention to anything they do. I don't know who they've signed, what they're signing them for. I tend not to pay much attention unless it's really, really big news. So to live your life like that, it must be hard work, man. I mean, the guys that tune in and watch this podcast as well, just to leave a comment so they can put a clover after it. I mean, if that's the way you want to spend your life, I mean, honestly, there's more to life than that.
No, there is indeed. You know, yes, more Rangers things, please. That's enough of that.
That's enough of that.
Yeah, also, something I think this came out as well just before we were starting to record Club Deck Corner on Tuesday, was the ticketing information came out for the Union Saint-Gilloise game in the 9th of August. Ibrox, it'll be £28 for adults, £22 concessions, and £12 juniors. And then there's a couple of key dates here if you don't already know. Season ticket holders have got until Monday the 1st of August to buy their ticket. If you're on the continuous credit card scheme, that comes out from the 1st of August. And then the key ones for any of you that aren't season ticket holders are the My Jeers thing goes on sale from the Wednesday the 3rd. And if there are any tickets left for general sale, which I very much doubt there'll be that many. They'll go on sale on Friday the 5th of August. But stuff for that will sort of come out, and there's always going to be a few folk that won't be able to make it along. So if you want to get along to that game and you aren't a season ticket holder in my jersey, just keep your eyes peeled, because something generally does pop up, but you need to be pretty sharpish to get them. Before we'll talk about a bit more further about Union Saint-Gilloise, but I just wanted to get your thoughts. I think it was Ryan, it was Jamie in the group chat had said that the ticket prices are actually cheaper than they were for the Malmo game last season.
That's right, yeah, he did say that. Aye, surprising to read that. You always expect it to go up £1 or £2 every season, really, don't you? I think the prices are fair, although my dad's probably a wee bit upset he has to pay over 20 quid for his concession ticket. He's living in another world just now with his concession. This is his first year with a concession season ticket. I think his cup final ticket was like 20 quid or something like that once. It's an absolute joke. I'd do away with the concession tickets, that's what I say. I thought it were fair ticket prices for a Champions League qualifier, Scotia, and it is surprising to hear it's cheaper. I just hope that, I know it will be a full house, I just hope the place is rocking. I know it's just a qualifier, but I think it's so important that we get that atmosphere going that we generated last year, and I know we always do. I think Gerard's words always strike in my head last season with that Malmo game. He said, get the place rocking, and we did, and the team didn't perform, but we need to just keep... I've got a feeling this is going to be a bit tighter, this game, than we possibly like it to be, because it's so early on in the season, and this Champions League qualifiers, they're going to be no mugs this lot. So I think we'll have our part to play a week on Tuesday, no matter what the score. And I just hope the place is rocking. But yeah, in terms of the ticket prices, I think they're more than fair. So I'm happy to pay my £28, I think it is. So I'm happy to pay that.
Yeah, no, Connie, that's decent enough price. I'd pay anything to go and watch Rangers, if I'm being honest. If I can, anything that I can afford, I'd pay it. So very good prices, and it's a bit of a shock that it's cheaper than it was last season. It was the same stage we faced Malmo at, wasn't it? I think it was the second or the third qualifying round we faced Malmo as well.
Yeah, very fair pricing. I'm not really shocked by it. I'm looking forward to it. Of course, I'm looking forward to it, and I think this is another thing that I think Rangers need to not work on, but work on. I'll be like Ryan a wee bit, and I'll probably get shouted at for bringing the tone down a wee bit, but be more in touch with the fans in terms of what everybody's going through right now. There's so much happening in the world. The world's still pretty much trying to recover. Don't come out and charge us. Not that they have, but don't come out and charge us 50 quid for a qualifier game. That's the kind of thing that there should be more done for Rangers during the season, because I know it's a business. I know we're trying to build the business to be a self-sustaining club. I completely understand that. But for the guys that have paid their season ticket for years, over and over again, constantly, what would be the danger in flinging them free friendly tickets during the summer? Something to give back to the club. Just wee things like that would make all the difference, I think, to so many people. But again, Scotia, I'm a hypocrite, because I'm sitting here going, I just pay anything. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'll go, okay, that's it, and I'll pay it. Even though I might be a wee bit upset about it, but I'll still pay it. And that's the bit that the club have took advantage of over the years, I think. And that goes back to Murray. Do you know what I mean? That goes back when he was in charge. He knew we were his cash cow. Do you know what I mean? So he knew fine well what we were doing. But I think that's very fair. The fact that it's not more than the Malmo game, I think that's a good inclination of what the club are trying to achieve, and they're trying to be more in touch with the fans, because we have been screaming out for that. Just kind of realise that yes, we're a business, but this isn't a business to us as fans. This is our way of life. As I say, that's twice I've said that in this podcast, but that's exactly the case. So no, very fair pricing, mate, and yeah, I can't wait for it, man. I really can't.
Yeah, talking about European football, I just seen Teddy Bear put up in the comments that Motherwell have sacked their manager, and I completely missed this. But yes,
no wonder.
Alexander has parted company. I sat and I was going to tie this into when we talked about Livy and talk about them, but no, I watched them last night and they were atrocious against Sligo Rovers. But yes, anyway, European football and all, we've still got it. So yeah, I'd mentioned on Tuesday night that Carney, you'd asked the question at who we expect to leave and things like that, and obviously this was addressed in the press conference as well. But the A squad list was kind of given to UEFA by Rangers, and kind of the main exceptions to the squad that weren't there were probably Simpson, Katic, and maybe Zakowski as well, because I think he could have probably squeezed into that team. But obviously, Gio thinks that there's enough about the team to get past Union Saint-Gilloise without them. But end of the road for Katic, Carney.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. It's more than confirmed by Gio in that press conference. I love that you're trying to say their name. I will stick with USG, mate. There's not a chance I'm going to try and say that.
Yeah,
I'll make a mess of myself.
The big problem is because half of Belgium speaks Dutch and half of Belgium speaks French. You never know what way you're meant to pronounce things. So yeah, maybe USG is the way to go.
USG, yeah, just go with USG, mate. It's easier. But yeah, no, Katic. I think we kind of seen it coming. I mentioned it last time that we were on. It's so rare that a player that was in the first team kind of has a bad injury, goes out on loan, comes back and is a success. It just doesn't really seem to happen. It's a shame for Katic. I think the injuries really knocked him back. I think we all used to like what we see. We always used to say he was raw. But I think even in the pre-season games that we've seen him, I still think he's trying to prove a point too much. Like, it's almost too gung-ho. Like, there's a ball, I'm going to head it. No matter what, I'm just going to head it. And I don't care what happens after that. That's where I think he's kind of let himself down. But I can't blame him for wanting to try. Guy loves it here. Do you know what I mean? You can see the way he reacts with the fans and stuff he does. And it's just a shame. It's one of the ones that hasn't worked out for him. So I wish him nothing but success. I hope he finds a club that he can proper get a run of games at. He doesn't get signed up to a team that are only going to use him as rotation. I do wish him well and all the best to him. But yeah, I'm not shocked that Gio came out with that in the presser today.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a dead question asking you this, Ryan, but you're the same, I would imagine.
Yeah, not surprised. I think with Balogun, when he let Balogun leave, I kind of thought to myself, right, Balogun's proven here, whereas Katic probably isn't. I think Gio's he said in his press conference today, he had a look at him, he brought him back and had a look at him, and he's just not shown the level that Gio wants, and he's our manager. He's the one that's going to live and die by the sword of who he signs and the results this season. And if he thinks Katic isn't good enough, then so be it. I quite like Niko Katic. As I said, I quite liked him. I thought he was very good in the air. But yes, very raw on the deck, and I think maybe there's that kind of romantic thing because of that goal he scored against them. There's definitely an element of that, and him and Goldson did strike a good partnership up for 5 or 6 months that season. But Rangers move on, and I'm more than happy with the signings we've made at centre-half. Obviously Davies I've not seen yet, but I trust that he's an upgrade on Niko Katic, considering he's played down south and Liverpool signed him up. So, yes, exact same as Carney. All the best, Niko. Hope he finds a club. Hope he stays fit, because there is a half-decent centre-half in there. But Rangers move on to bigger things now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. Wish Katic all the best, because I really liked him. And I think, this probably goes back to Rangers centre-half pairings throughout the years that I've watched them. You've always had like a kind of decent ball-playing defender and then a kind of no-nonsense defender beside them as well. Whereas under both Gerrard and certainly under Van Bronckhorst, I think they're looking for two centre-halves that can play with the ball at their feet, which unfortunately Katic is just a wee bit erratic at the time. And yeah, the injury, huge, big, massive injury for him and really harsh for him. But that put paid to his Rangers career, really, because getting back from that is really difficult. And I know I did see in the comments earlier on, I forget who it was because it's way up the top now, but someone had asked the same about Hadji, and obviously Hadji's ACL injury, he probably won't be back until after the World Cup. That's going to be tough for him to get back into the team after that, because I fully expect Matondo, Tillman and Lawrence to have fully cemented their place in the team by then. So again, unfortunately, these injuries, when they come along, can put your Rangers career off track. So that USG game comes up on Tuesday. I think with the way things are going, we probably won't have a show out before the USG game, but we'll probably try and round it off on the post-match reaction tomorrow, because I know they played Santruiden last week. They drew 1 each, and tonight at 7:45, I know an awful lot of you after you have finished watching us will go along and watch the Rabbles podcast at 7:30, but they are also playing Royal Charleroi tonight at 7:45, so I'll try and get that on and have a wee look at them in some form. Maybe it's his goal, maybe it's something else, but hopefully I can get that, just get a kind of idea of how they play.
I just shout out illegal streaming sites, mate. Well done.
That's okay. It's not nothing that no one doesn't know.
Exactly, or you can go through the official channel and pay for a subscription through their official website. Is that what you were going to say, Scotia?
That's what I think. I think it was his Wi-Fi that went a wee bit funny there, and it made it sound like he was saying something else than what he actually meant. I think, mate. Yeah.
USG TV, is it?
That's the one. Yeah. I think because I looked into it, because I think there's a Philippine sort of streaming service that does stuff, but I don't think they were showing the game last week. But I'll have a look.
Where are you going? Where are you going? Hang on. Where are you going? Stop.
Take the lead off him. Take it off him.
No, it's okay. Yeah. So anyway, let's look forward to the game, the main game, and that's the one against Livingston tomorrow. So it was press conference day today. We had both Tav and Gio out. Let's go through some of Gio stuff. I mean, I think one of the biggest talking point was probably the fact that Katic was told to let go. But a couple of other ones that sort of stood out were the injury situations. Roof's still a bit away, and so is Helander. He didn't give any timescales for that, but Roof will be back before Helander. So they're two that we've spoken about it often enough. That these comments that you're flinging up put me off.
Jamie's was a good one, to be fair. That's
it was.
I'm being doctor running GTV. That's brilliant.
Yeah, no, so Highlander and Roof we spoke about often enough, but they're out. Matondo, obviously, he picked up a wee knock during the week at the game against Queen's Park, didn't he? And he doesn't look like he'll make it, but he should be back for Tuesday. Yilmaz is finally on his way. He's joining up with the squad on Sunday, once he gets into Glasgow tomorrow. That was what he was saying in terms of injuries. He did also, obviously, Morelos was included in the Euro squad, and what he said in the press conference there was that he should be back for the second leg. So the 9th of August, Morelos should be back, which is an awful lot quicker than we thought. But I mean, that's the big one, Carney. Morelos back. That's good news for us.
Wow, massive, mate. Absolutely massive. Strangers to that podcast, I probably don't know that I'm a massive Alfredo Morelos fan, but no, it's so much quicker than we all thought. I think that's the best thing about it. I think we were all looking at like September, maybe see him getting a game, and yeah, he's obviously made great progress. It's massive to get Alfredo Morelos back in this team, especially with the players that we've added. Okay, I know we've lost a couple, but the players that we've added are really going to help Alfredo Morelos out, I think, even more. So massive news that Alfredo is nearly back. I think we all got a wee skip in our step after hearing that he's closer than we all thought. So yeah, I can't wait to see him. Honestly, I can't wait to see him. And as I say, I predicted that he was going to be top goal scorer, so he's going to come back better than ever. But yeah, to have him for the second leg could be crucial.
Yeah, could indeed. Carney, sorry, Ryan, what are your thoughts on Alfie being back this quicker than you expected?
Longer than expected. I'll be honest, longer in general, longer, because he was doing light training in May. But then when Gio said maybe a week or two ago he's a bit further away than they thought, I thought he was going to be September. So I didn't think he would see these qualifiers. So yeah, if he's back for this game at Ibrox, then send it, absolutely send it, because he loves Europe. He loves the shop window. He loves playing in these big European nights. So yeah, absolutely send it. He's our talisman, and if the quicker he gets this contract signed, I'll feel so much better if he signs this contract, because I do think this will go on a wee bit longer yet. But I think if Morelos signs that contract, he'll be a happy guy, and if he's a happy Morelos, we say it in this pod all the time, he's a dangerous player. So I think that needs to all settle down. If he plays in that second leg and he's fit, then I'll be very confident we can do the business. But of course, it's great to see him in training, and it was great to see Gio putting the ball between his legs. I seen that wee clip today. I don't know if you saw it. Megged him in a rondo, so Gio's still got a bit of football about him, and
Yeah.
And Morelos went down like a Saturday coupon as well. But yeah, it's good to see him in training, good to see him enjoying himself, and hopefully we see him very shortly in the starting lineup.
Yes, indeed. And actually, Ryan, I'll stay with you because the BBC were back in the house. I did see it when I was watching the press conference. Although the question they asked was a fairly innocuous one, really, in terms of how does the squad compare from May to November. But it kind of comes on to the point that we've been discussing all of the summer, really, is that there was this automatic overreaction to not doing business. But, look at where we are now in terms of the squad we've got. I think I'm fairly comfortable with the squad we've got at the moment. Maybe another attacking option would be ideal, but how do you feel with the way the squad is at the minute?
Yeah, less shout outs to BBC. That's what I say. Yeah, I think I knew it was coming. I think we all knew it was coming. I think Ennis with a bit of calmness. There was so much bedwetting about. Like, I've seen it in the comments, even on our pod, just for a few people, and Rangers Twitter was in meltdown, and look what that mob are doing because they were signing players that were already part of their furniture. We were always going to sign players. Gio was not coming here to just get by and not spend money and not bring players in, and hopefully Gerrard's team just keep going and keep going and keep going. He was coming here to change it and put his imprint on this team, and he's done it. He's brought players in, and yes, we've said this last week, it all looks like quality signings. There will be ones who aren't, and there will be ones who exceed our expectations. We've signed more than I thought we would, Scotia. I'll be honest, I thought we'd sign 2 or 3 first teamers, and I think we've signed possibly more than that. I think we look very strong. I am really liking the noises I'm hearing about Tielemans. I hope that doesn't flop after me saying that, but I know Halliday said something. The only person I can think let it slip to Halliday is Alan McGregor. He said, and I think it was Open Goal podcast, he said he's hearing that he's looking brilliant in training. I think Derek Ferguson's also said it today. He's hearing that Tielemans looking good. He's come for Bayern Munich. I don't think this boy's coming to sit on the bench. I think he'll come and play. He's in my team tomorrow. Matondo looks great. I think Gio has recruited very wisely and very shrewdly, and he's also got a couple of big players out, which was a concern of mine, that we would lose big players and not replace them. And as it stands just now, we don't know how they could play. But as it stands just now, I'm extremely happy with the business we've done. Not quite sitting there going, what a window, because that would be arrogant, but very happy as a Rangers fan sitting here at the moment. I think we have 2 players minimum for every position.
Yeah, we do indeed. Yeah, Carney, your thoughts on the squad overall?
Very good. I get Ryan's not wanting to get carried away with himself, but no, I'm really looking forward to seeing them all really now. I think it's one of the best windows that I can remember Rangers having in a long time. And I'd probably agree. I think we probably have signed a wee bit more than I thought we would, but I do think there's contributing factors to that, for the fact that obviously Bassey and Aribo both left. So I'm all for it. I love the fact that the club have used the money from the Bassey transfer wisely, and by wisely I don't mean just going to Gio, there's 20 million, mate, go and do what you want. This is obviously all very thought out, and Ross Wilson's obviously done his homework, because I'm very excited from what we've signed. And I did love Gio's comment today in the press conference when somebody asked, do you feel like this is your team now? And he went, it's been my team since I took over as Rangers manager. I love that. I loved that. I was like, yes, more of that. That actually made the hairs on my arms, back of my neck kind of stand up, because I thought, yeah, that's exactly what you want to hear. No excuses, no beating around the bush. This has been my team since I walked in the door. Absolutely loved that.
That's a job interview answer, isn't it?
Oh, mate, right at the top. It's like one you didn't even expect him to say. You're like, oh, out the top draw. Absolute cracking answer. Absolutely loved that. So no, I'm the same, Tillman. The stuff that I'm hearing about him, very excited to see what's about to happen. And once everybody, I know they're kind of still at different stages. This always happens during a transfer window. They're all still at kind of different stages. But give it a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, and we might just start seeing the fruits of the labour of the Ross Wilson transfer window come to fruition, and we get to see these players absolutely flourish. But I'm very excited about the season coming ahead, not just because Rangers are back. Obviously, I'm excited about that, but it's who we have signed and the calibre of player that we have signed, it's right. This feels much more like the start of a season being a Rangers fan.
Yeah, speaking about Ross Wilson and the transfer window in general, Tav was the player that was out to the press today, and he got asked about his contract situation, and the answer that he gave across was, yeah, he's focused on the games, but the talks are still ongoing. But the way that he said stuff, Ryan, was, to me, certainly seemed that that's going to get signed, no bother, because everyone's settled. Although I did have a wee bit of panic when someone on Twitter had put a tweet out about Tav leaving and signing a comment, but they were talking about Tav's younger brother, Marcus, thankfully. That gave me a wee bit of fear.
He's just signed for somebody for big money, is he not?
A Premier League team. I don't know if he's signed for them yet.
Is it Forest?
Was it Bournemouth?
Was it Premier League?
I think it might be Bournemouth. I think you may be right, actually.
Scotia, have you and Ali told everybody that you've met him? Oh yeah, of course you have, 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, no, Ali has. I haven't. You know what Ali's like?
Did you not meet him?
No,
no, you keep talking about it.
Ali that goes on about it.
Yeah. And Ali had what was he said to his mum? He said to his mum, "You've done great with your son."
You should be proud of your son.
Honestly, man, horrific.
Represent the pod.
Yeah, he's went to Bournemouth. I just looked that up quickly. He's went to Bournemouth.
Teddy Bear said it in the comments. Well done, Teddy Bear. But Tavernier, for me, it's not something you really worry about him signing a contract, is it? It's like sticking the kettle on. It's an absolute cert. It's going to happen. It'll just be a matter of time. He'll want to get this contract as perfect as he can get it for his future, because I would imagine this possibly will be his last contract. So, I don't think there's anything to worry about. In fact, there is nothing to worry. I'm confident to say there's nothing to worry about in terms of that, because he's our captain. So, that will go over the line in time. It's the Kent and Morelos one that we're looking at. We want those over the line as quickly as possible, get the squad settled down and get an attack on Europe. But I'm looking forward to seeing the team tomorrow, and Tav leading us out for a charge to 56, Scotia, because that's what it is, the start of a charge to 56.
Come on.
Yes, indeed it is. Yeah, Carney, I'll let you wrap up. Anything more to take away from Tav's quite short interview he had today?
He's staying. That's all the thing I'll say. Tav is here for good. I don't think there's any danger of him going anywhere. Why would he? He's got everything that he's ever going to need. He's got a legacy behind him now. He's working his way towards legendary status. He's hopefully going to get a testimonial if he stays for that. He's led us to a European final. I do think he has. I'll say it again. I do think he has unfinished business, because I think for what he's been through as a Rangers player from the start to where he is now, he deserves much more. He deserves to lift much more silverware than what he has, and I think it's going to come his way. I'm delighted that Tav's staying up. I have never been of the FFS Tav brigade. I've never been that. I've always loved him. I've always thought he's great. I did question, I've said it before in the pod, I did question the captaincy thing, but he firmly flung that back in my face. So no, delighted about it, mate, and now just cannot wait for tomorrow.
Yes, no, the press conference were good. Like you say, I think that the comment that Gio made about it's always been my team at Kenny, that straight away got me going, yes, no, that's the season properly starting now. It got the battle fever on it, shall we say. So let's look ahead to the game tomorrow at Tony Macaroni or Almondvale for the older Bears among us, where we take on Livy at 12 o'clock. Livingston finished last season in 7th place on 49 points, and like we always say, with the oddities of the split in place, that means that they would have finished fourth. Yeah, I mean, you do have to factor in the fact that they wouldn't have been playing the bottom 5 teams in the league. They would have probably had a Hearts, either one of us or Celtic in there as well. But yeah, they were very unlucky not to make the top 6 last season, I thought, and they would have certainly put on a better show than in Europe than Motherwell did last night. That's for sure. But they've obviously started this season with that wee mad League Cup group game thing you play at the start of the season, which I don't know if I said to you, I'd certainly said to Ali that the one season that we did play in that, I quite enjoyed it because it was competitive games and really nice weather. But I would rather not be in it because it means that your season previously was an absolute abysmal failure. But it was good when the weather was good. But they finished second in the group that they were in, behind Inverness, Cally Thistle, with one defeat to Cally Thistle, a 2-0 win over Kelty, a 2-1 win over Cove Rangers, and a 3-2 win over Albion Rovers. On those games, they had a couple of players sent off, one of them being Stryek, one of their goalkeepers, and the other being the new boy that they've brought in, a striker called Ismael Concalves, who looks like he's going to still be suspended for the game tomorrow because of that red card. In terms of Livy, they've brought a few transfers in, that Concalves boy. They've brought in Jamie Brandon from Hearts, Phil Kincaid from Western Sydney, which I've noticed quite a few SPFL teams digging about the Australian market recently. I think because of obviously Brexit, all the rules for everyone now are the same. So these are kind of markets that I think you're going to see getting utilised more often by the teams below us. They've put in a guy called Scott Bisundu from some team that I've never heard of.
Go on, try to pronounce him. Go on.
Go say it, Scotia. Go try and say it.
I think they're called KSK Liers, but I don't know where I don't even know what country they're from.
No
That's how much research I put into that.
But
I think that, the main one that brought in is a goalkeeper, Shamel George from Colchester United. And I listened to David Martindale's press conference today, and he was not impressed with Stryek or the Russian goalkeeper they've got, Konovalov. Listening to his press conference, he was not pleased at all. So they brought in this new goalkeeper who I thoroughly expect to start against us tomorrow. Talking about Martindale's presser there, he spoke very highly of us, and the way I took it from it is that he was perhaps potentially expecting a wee bit of a guffing, because he said he was at the West Ham game and Rangers looked really, really, really good. Just another couple of points that either Livy are missing both Tom Parks and Morgan Boyce. Yes, Morgan Boyce is Welsh, actually, Curry Muncher. There you go.
I was wondering if you'd seen that there.
Fantastic. They're both missing through injury, and they're better defenders. And he was also before I get your thoughts, he was asked about the season and the prospects for Livingston. I quite like David Martindale because he's always pretty honest and says it like it is. Says it's going to be the old firm top two. Hearts pretty much a nail on for third. And then he talked himself up a wee bit, saying that they're looking for top six finish, but he expects it to be like your Aberdeen, Hibs, Dundee United, but hoping that they can go out and put a wee bit of a wee upset into the bargain there to finish in that top six. But anyway, come at you, Ryan. What are your thoughts about the game tomorrow in terms of Livy, and also just in terms of Rangers? How do you think we're going to approach this? Is it going to be the new team that we've maybe seen against West Ham in the second half against Blackpool, or do you think it'll be more similar to the teams that we've seen previously, the end of last season, sort of the first half against Blackpool?
I think that, firstly, with Livingston, I think it's going to be between possibly them, St John's and St Mirren, maybe, that are going to get relegated. I think one of them possibly are going to go down. I like Martindale. I do think he's a hard-working guy, very honest, always says it how it is. So he's got on well with this podcast, he's got on well with me. I think I fancy Rangers to really turn it on tomorrow. I do, and I know it's the optimism, new season, new signings, but I just think we're going to see a different Rangers tomorrow than we've possibly seen. I think that we all said the line-up against Tottenham, maybe give or take one or two due to injury or preference for the goalkeeper, but I think that'll be close to the line-up for tomorrow. And I think you're going to start seeing Gio's style of play. I think that you can see Rangers move the ball about quickly, especially on a plastic pitch. I think it's so important that you do move the ball about quickly on a plastic pitch before you start using it as an excuse. So I'm expecting a good performance from Rangers tomorrow, and I do think if we get this, not the first goal, I think if we get the second goal, I think I could see us giving them a doing, because I don't want to sound arrogant, but I just don't rate Livingston, really. I don't rate them as a good team, so I think they'll be in a relegation battle, and I think it will start off poorly for them tomorrow. You don't want my score just now, do you, Scotia?
No, I'll let Carney have his say, then we'll come back to wrap up with the teams and scores. Go going on from that, Carney? Any thoughts, Rangers and in Livy as well?
Nah, it's always, as I say, we are, even though Ryan doesn't want to get ahead of himself in terms of the transfer window, there is the optimism of that it has been a good window, and that kind of builds to the feeling of Rangers are going to come out the traps here. I'm so glad it's such a great pitch to play football on. Really can't wait to witness that as I say that through gritted teeth. But no, it's time now. It's the start of the season. We're all getting fully back into action, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think I'm the same. I like Martindale. There's nothing wrong with the guy. Livingston's ambitions in the league is don't go down. I mean, that's it. That's all they want to do is survive. Fair play to them for that. They're not massively funded. They don't sell out their ground. The biggest crowds that they get is when Rangers go to Livingston. So it's an occasion for them, I suppose, as well. But no, this is it's the start of the real deal now. It's time to see what everybody's made of, and spoiler, I expect Rangers to win.
Yes, no, I mean, on Livy, what you were saying there, Ryan, actually, in terms of for a relegation battle, I think Livy will be a wee bit better than that because they've 11 players left in the transfer window. There are some of them been retirements, like Marvin Bartley's retired now, but he barely played last season because he was always on the BBC. Quite liked him in the BBC, actually.
I was going to say, I quite like Marvin Bartley. I listened to him on that phone-in programme that I can tolerate for half an hour, and he always comes across quite well, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, they've obviously lost. I think the players that have left, the ones that I'd recognise straight away were probably Alan Forrest, but I don't think Alan Forrest played that often for them last season. So I think they've managed to kind of keep the score of their core of their squad even. And like you say, I think St Mirren, St Johnstone, Motherwell, and if the Hibs results in the League Cup maybe were just a blip, but I don't think Hibs are going to be as good as I maybe suspected them to be before the League Cup get played. So I think Livy should be all right, and they'll give us a good test. But like you, I think it's going to be, this should be, on paper, should be a bit of a stroll in the park for Rangers without being too disrespectful. So I think, like we mentioned on Club Deck Corner, we're going to kind of try and keep track of our team selections and scores throughout the season this year so that we can kind of tally them up towards the end of the season. So any of the listeners, if you want to join in as well, feel free to do so and put your teams and scores in the comments, and I can go through and keep a track of them as well. But Carney,
are you actually committing that? Sorry, hang on. Are you actually going to commit to that? I take my hat off to you, Scotia. You've just said that, mate. These people will not forget, mate. They will not forget you've said that.
Nobody's going to check your homework, mate. Nobody will check your homework.
If the listeners want to do it, I'll try and keep on top of it. Yes. But Carney, we'll let you take the honours and be the first to give us your team and score prediction for the coming season. First game of the coming season. Sorry.
Okay, mate. I'll be shocked if we're not all remarkably similar here. McLaughlin, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Barisic, Lundstrom, Kamara, Lawrence, Wright, Cholak and Kent. And I'll go 3-0 Rangers and Cholak to score first.
Okay. Ryan, I'll let you go as well. For me,
I have gone McLaughlin in goals, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Barisic, sitting to Looney and Kamara, going Kent on the left, Lawrence on the right, Thielman behind Cholak.
Okay.
And you want my score?
Yeah, your score as well, please.
I apologise to the listeners and to you guys. I have completely forgot the format and what we do this in. Like, genuinely forgot the format. It's been that long. I'm like, do I give my score now? I'm going 4-0 Rangers, Cholak to score first. Managers.
Okay. Yeah, keep mine short and sweet. Mine's is the exact same as Carney's. Exact same team, exact same score, and exact same goal scorer. So that keeps it simple. I think maybe out of them, your talking points are potentially, will it be McLaughlin and McGregor? I've got the feeling that McGregor probably plays on Tuesday ahead of McLaughlin. And then you've also, Sands has been playing in it left centre half now and again. Wouldn't surprise me to see him. And then, like you, Ryan, I was thinking maybe if you've got Lawrence out on the right-hand side, and Tillman through the middle. But I was thinking about Wright, Carney, and you'd asked the question who will be the surprise package of the season. And I was considering that Wright potentially could be one of those guys. I fully expect Matondo to get the majority of the game time, but I've just got a wee feeling that Wright, Gio seems to like Wright. He follows the instructions all the time. That I think, he could maybe shock a few people and have a fairly decent season.
Yeah, possibly. Just for anybody that cares, I know you don't because Ali's not here, but Ali's team's exactly the same as me and Scotia's. He's sent that through. His is exactly the same. He's not sent his scorers, mind you. And I think somebody actually asked earlier, and I think it was Potato Man that asked earlier if I was leaving out Ryan Jack. And yes, I am, which is a sore one for me. But I think the two are Lundstrom and Kamara for Gio. I think that's what he likes and what he's going to go with in that midfield. And in terms of Scott Wright, look, I think he's had chances. I think he's probably took about half of them. I think that's maybe been a wee bit generous. He's took about half of them where he's kind of impressed. I do think Gio likes him because I think he trusts him to do what exactly, as you said, mate, he'll do exactly what he's told to do, and he won't differentiate from that. It'll be that's the job I've been told to do, and I will do it. He could. I mean, he's definitely going to play a part this season. Matondo's not going to play every game. I wouldn't expect him to. So I think he could be a surprise package. Towards the end of the season, we might be looking and thinking what a season he's had, and I hope he does. That's the thing. When we talk about players, even when we're talking about Katic, I don't wish it bad on any Rangers player. I really don't. Brandon Barker aside, that was the only one. But
poor boy's left, and you're still thinking.
I know, still. That's came up because somebody commented the other night on a tweet that we should do a compilation of all the bits that go wrong because we don't edit podcasts. And I was like, no, we've already done that. And I actually flicked through it. And there was about 4 or 5 times, Ryan, where me and you were talking about Brandon Barker. And I'm just like raging the whole way through it. I'm like, stop talking about Brandon Barker. But no, I mean, all joking aside, I don't wish any bad on any player. I want every player to succeed at Rangers. So, look, Scott Wright's an interesting one. I think a lot of people have kind of run out of time with him. I think a lot of people he's not good enough, he needs to get moved on, etc. But I think he's still going to have a part to play this season. So I hope he does. I hope he surprises everyone.
Yep, indeed. Well, that's us about the hour mark. I know an awful lot of you head over to watch the Rabble, so we will finish up here and let you go. And I need to go onto the USG website to purchase their match tonight, so I can watch that and give you the lowdown. But thank you very much for tonight, Ryan, and we'll probably speak to you tomorrow after the game.
Thanks, mate. Nice one on hosting. Hope everybody enjoys the game tomorrow. Rangers are back, and for me, Rangers play their strongest squad because the priority is the title this season, and we don't rest anything for this title. We go again and go for 56 tomorrow.
Yep, indeed. And Carney, thanks for tonight, and I'll probably speak to you tomorrow after the game. And after, like we're hoping here, a clean sheet and a convincing win.
Clean sheet and a convincing win would be fantastic. No, great. It's here now. We've finished our duties tonight, gentlemen, and we get to sit and look forward to tomorrow now. Thank you again to everybody that gets involved in the chat. It's brilliant. It really is. We love when you get interaction from you. Again, just a wee call to arms. Please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel before you go. That would be absolutely magic. We are hoping to get 3,000 before the World Cup, 3,000 subscribers. So that would be tremendous. You can support the channel via YouTube for only 99p. You can join the membership, the Coffee Buying membership as well. All the links in that are below. And since you've all stuck around to the end of the podcast, if you go to 22merch.bigcartel.com, where 2 new t-shirts have been added, and use the code podcast at the checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for tonight, and speak to you tomorrow. We are the people.
Yes, cheers, Carney. Indeed, you've kind of said everything there that I was going to wrap up with. So just say goodbye from me, and then see you all later.
It happens all the time, mate. I'm sorry. I'm so used to hosting. Good night, everybody.
Cheers.